Okay, so that moment we were trying to understand how to write the code in JavaScript to display the date and time. So I were teaching, so I have removed the total code from here. So now the code window is empty, and whenever we run this, what happened here, remove this total code from, okay, now if you run this, your result window is empty. So as I told you that these are free classes, and these classes are being conducted thrice of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday of a week, sharply at 8 p.m. These are free classes, and I promised that these classes will be conducted up to my last of breath, okay, last minute of breath. So if anybody wants to get paid classes, and I need to give time to them, so they can contact me on my number 9110398650. And if anybody wants to attend my free classes, you can attend the classes every week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 8 p.m. Okay, the link, same link, Zoom classes link, I have shared in social media. Apart from that, also I am conducting one astrology class on every Monday at 8 p.m. on same Zoom link, and yoga asanas classes also being conducted thrice of a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning 6:30 a.m. Okay, so now let us write the code to display date and time. First of all, as I told you that first we need to write what this is called. I need to write the document type inside of this document type. This is doc type. Okay, first of all, doc type. Before this, I need to keep the exclamation mark, doc type. Then after HTML, document of HTML5 version. Now come down. I told you that we need to keep that is what HTML element started with start tag, and to be closed with close tag, always closed end tag closed with / HTML. Okay, now then after body to be started with what? Body to be started with start tag, same the body to be closed with end tag. Now inside of this body we will write the code. First of all, one header to be written, that is very important. The header can be anything like h1, h2, whatever. Okay, inside of this header, okay, this is the header element start tag. So header element close end tag, header element close tag, end tag. Now inside of this, now if you run this code, you will not be see anything. Your result window is empty. So if you want to display anything under the part of your header, so that is called content, JavaScript JS program. So that will be displayed on your screen, JS program. You can see this one. Okay, so this doc type, whether exclamation mark is important, try to understand. If I remove this, still you are getting, there is no any problem, still you are getting. So whether this doc to be document, small letters can be taken, doc type, which, okay, understood. Okay, that, see, you are getting HTML like this. Okay, so you need to mention the doc type, that is very important here, doc type. Then after run this code, doc type HTML. So that's why you need to write this as capital doc type. Otherwise you will see whatever you write that will be displayed doc type HTML. So exclamation mark, that is very compulsory. Understood that? Now if you run this, you will get. So if you keep any, even though if you keep any distance also, this is also right, wrong. So no any, that it is to be, there is no any white space accepted here. This is okay, and understood that. So if you write Java, whatever the content you want to see here, Java script, this content, this is the content I want to see on the screen. So whatever the content I want to see on the screen, that is to be kept inside of the h1 element, start tag, end tag. Next is topic is what? To display the date and time by creating a button, and over that button we will write a content. Please click here to get the date and time. So now this is okay. Now see what happened here. Now here I want to create a button element, that is called button element. Okay, button, button element. So element must be closed. Every element has, as I told you, the two tags. One is start tag, end tag. So button element has a tag start. This is start tag. Now it is to be closed with end tag, button. Okay, now close this one. Now inside of this one, under this button, okay, so a button is an element. It has two tags, start tag, end tag. Now you need to declare this as which type of a type attribute. That is very important. Type, okay. Attribute means type attribute must be passed with a value, otherwise is equal to. Type attribute is equal to what? So one value, string value, we need to pass here, button, as it is. I told you that. Okay. So then after what? Button declared as its attribute type is equal to button. Then one event. I told you that button, over that button we will click. So then date and time will be displayed. That is called event. So that event is called on click. Okay, is equal to what? Now here I told you that one method, that is JavaScript HTML mostly used method, that will be used to find the content of the HTML content. So that is what? On click. Document. Why document? This total is considered as a document. Okay. On click document dot get element. This is the main method. Get element by ID. This is the method. Inside of this, I told you that one parameter we need to pass. That parameter is what? So any parameter, if you keep like this, okay, if you keep any parameter like this, ID, suppose if you have kept this string value as a string, this string value as a what? ID. Okay, so you need to, outside of this button, you need to write that ID. You need to assign a value for this ID attribute. See, inside of the P element, P is what? Paragraph. P element is paragraph element. Okay, it is a paragraph element. Every element, I told you that one start tag and end tag. Now this paragraph element ended with a closed with a end tag. Now so element, paragraph element. Now inside of this we need to assign the value for this id attribute. Okay, id. So id, whatever the value I have passed as id, okay, id, otherwise demo. So here I have passed the, in get element by id I have passed as id, so you simply write as id. Other, if you kept that value as demo, so same value, no, it is okay now. So under the e element, okay, that id attribute assigned with id string value, so the same string value passed as parameter for get element by id method. Now dot inner html, this is very important, inner html, this will be used for what purpose? I told you in the previous class, inner html is equal to what? Inner html, I told you that to find the content, html content. So otherwise to change the html content, so here inner html is equal, we want to display what? Date and time. So use date method here, date method, understood that? So now let us see what happened here. Let us see. So inside of this button, okay, if I close this button, this is what? This button, I want to close this as, here I want to close this button, understood that? See, so now inside of the button start tag, that button is type button, on click is an event. Whenever it is turned into this type of colorful, so means the code is okay, source code whatever I have written, that is okay. Before that it was not okay. See, whenever I kept this this button, whenever I have kept like this, all the code I have written turned into white color, but it is not accepted, means that source code is not okay you have written. So whenever I have closed this, now it is okay. Now see, understood what? Type is equal to button, okay, on click is an event is equal to document dot get element by id, it is a method. I told you that this is the mostly used html javascript html method, and inside html content will be identified by id attribute. That id attribute I have passed as id string, okay. So that id string inside of this p element, id is equal to id, so same id value passed as a string parameter, okay. Dot inner html, I told you that use it to find the html content. Here either html content to find the html content, otherwise to change the html content. Now button created, over that button if you want to write anything like javascript program, if you want to see over the button anything you want to see, please click here, okay. Now see, now let us run this code. If anything happen, let us see. So please click here, but id is equal to id. Why we are getting id is equal? So you do one thing, keep this in double quotation marks. I hope this in Python, this is called your javascript, the code mostly the strings will be kept in double quotation, I think. Let us see. Okay, same thing I have kept here, id, okay. Now id I have passed, okay. Now run this code, still you are getting still same thing you are able to see here. Okay, That moment, this P element, you do one thing. Now this you keep like this element. Okay. Now run this code. Okay, this is okay. Now you click on here. Now whenever you click on this, okay, your date and time to be displayed. That is very important. So now on click here, we need to keep this total from document and up to here date. It is to be kept in double quotation marks. Okay, now run this code. Still this is okay. See, now whenever we click on this, we are able to get this date. Today is October 13 to 2024. Time is 12:33. So Greenwich Mean Time plus 5:30 Indian Standard Time. So the code, I have erased all that code, and as per my choice, I have written this code. As I briefed that, it's very important to understand the code, whatever the string inside of this, whatever the string demo, pass it to this id attribute inside of this p element. So same to be passed for the get element by id method as a parameter, and the date method that is to be passed inner html. Okay, understood that? So if you want to know that actually what is this inner html, that is if you want to know that, already I have briefed in the previous classes. However, one more time I want to say, that is what inner html, and that is what introduction. So see, get element by id is one of many JavaScript HTML method. This is one of JavaScript HTML method. So this element by id method, this method, this get element by id method used to find an HTML element. But that moment id is very important. That element, HTML element, will be identified by id is equal demo, and that it changes the element content. That HTML element content means that content is inner HTML. Okay, the element content inner HTML to whatever you write, the content will be changed. Means the content of this inner HTML will be changed to hello JavaScript. So here 2 points you must keep in mind. One method that is mostly used JavaScript HTML method, that is get element by id method, used to find an HTML element with id. That is very important, and changes the element content inner HTML to what? Hello JavaScript. So here document, as I told you, document dot get element by id inside of the demo. Okay, inner HTML, that is content of inner HTML changed to hello JavaScript. So here one point to be noted, JavaScript accept both double and single quotes. That is very important. Single quotes and double quotes can be accepted by JavaScript. So now let us see. Okay, now I want to explain one thing, that is where to here. Okay, see here, to access an HTML element. Okay, if you want to access any HTML element, JavaScript use document.getElement by id method. This is very important. Whenever you want to access an HTML element, JavaScript will use document.getElement by id method. Okay, here id is what? An attribute inside of this method, parenthesis brackets, id passed as a, that is what? An attribute. So that attribute to be assigned with a value, that is what? A string value. So this id attribute defines the HTML element. Okay, so inner HTML is what? Dot inner HTML, a property. So for that property, this property defines the HTML content. Understood? So id attribute defines the HTML element, and inner HTML property defines the HTML content. Okay, id attribute, that id is equal demo, we have passed demo as a string, so that id is an attribute. That attribute defines the HTML element. Then inner HTML property defines the HTML content. Element and content, you need to understand the difference. So here try to see inside of this string, id is equal to, this is, I told you that inside of the p is what? Your element, paragraph element. Inside of this id, okay, id is what? As I have briefed here, id is what? Id is an attribute. That attribute defines the HTML elements. So for that id attribute, demo string, okay, passed. Okay, now HTML element will be found by this get element by id. Now that id attribute value demo passed as an argument. Okay, and inner HTML, that is what? It is an attribute to get HTML content. Understood that? Simple, huh? So but thing is that where this is the code I have written. So now this is what? This p element, whether this is declared, this is written after the button. Now here whenever you click on here, see, you will get this date, but this p element, if it can be written before this button, let us see. Copy this one. Okay, cut. Just before this you paste this, before the button declaration. Now p, this id attribute passed with a value demo, this is closed. Now this is called your p element. So before this we need to write a code. Okay, element button, button button. Okay, button button, type is equal to button, on click document.getElement by id. Inside of this demo, one value passed as a string. Now let us see what will be happen here. Same thing we are getting. So declaring this p element just before the button and after the button, there is no any meaning. Okay, there is no any meaning. It doesn't mean you can declare the p element just before the button, otherwise after the button. So here that p element declared after the button. Okay, button closed, button element started, button element closed with end tag, but p element written after the button. But here in my code, if I change, if I p element written just before the button, there is no any problem, still your date will be displayed. This is the point I want to note it. Please note this point and try to write the code. So as I told you that these classes are free classes, and I promise to conduct the classes thrice of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. on the same Zoom link. If anybody have doubt, if anybody want to clarify that, my number is 9110398650, and mostly classes will be conducted on a free platform. If anybody is wanted to get paid classes, I need to give separate time, so we will discuss that, and anybody, they can make a call to me. Okay, I will discuss that. Apart from that, also one astrology class on same Zoom link on Monday evening 8 p.m. will be free class conducted. And apart from that, Mondays, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning 6:30 yoga and asanas classes also conducted. They are very free classes, and you can attend on the same Zoom class link. Okay, now this is okay. Now if anybody have any doubt, you can dial to me. My number 9110398650. These classes are being conducted on my foundation, Lakshmi Narayana Krishna Foundation, to remember my parents and my ancestor grandparents. Okay, Jai Hind.